So in this video I'm going to talk about dictionary tables. So I'll go ahead and start by inserting a script to script service. And I'm going to start making a variable. I'm just going to call it table. Set to brackets here. If you're not familiar with the basics of tables, I made a separate video on it. But in that video I talked about and how to make an array table specifically, which is you can do by putting some values in here like hello, 100, and true. And we can print out this table to see like the actual contents. So if I run this game right now, you can see it prints it out right there, each value, and you see it's by order. So the first one is number 1, hello, and then number 2, 100, number 3, true. And then you can also change values like this. So say I change hello to I don't know, cat, and then if I go and print this table, you can see it changes the first value to cat. For dictionary tables, the difference is that if you look in the print here, you can see that for an array table, the indexes here are numeric, like 1, 2, 3. But for a dictionary table, it's actually non-numeric. So I'll give an example. So I'll go rename this to array, and then so an array looks something like this. Like so. And this is the same way as the way I wrote before, just a bit longer. And this is a dictionary. So instead of numbers being numeric, we can use other values like strings are a very common example. So we do favorite color. I guess my favorite color is pink. Oops. Hot pink. Favorite animal. I'll do cat. Oh, you can have spaces here too. You don't necessarily need to put them together. I guess favorite number. Let's go with 2. Make sure a comma after each one. And now if we print both the array and then the dictionary, go ahead and run that. So see an array table here, it looks the same as before. And as for the dictionary, very similar to array, but except again these aren't numeric. There are a couple of main differences with this. For one, you can't. The way of looping them is a little bit different, but and also the way of changing their values. So for changing an array value, you would do something like this. For example, you would choose which index you want, which is the first one, for example, and then change it to a value you want. Whereas for a dictionary, it's essentially the same process, but except it's not a number. So let's say I want to change my favorite number to something else. Let's say I want to change it to, I don't know, 3.14. I'll go ahead and print the dictionary, and that value should be changed. Like so, favorite number is now 3.14. You can also read from the dictionary table, like so. And I'll read 3.14 after it changes, but before it'll be 2. So you can see it's 2, and now it's 3.14. And to loop through it, you need to loop through the table. We can do for key comma value in dictionary 2. And this is just a for loop. And these two variables here, so the key is the left side, right? And you don't have to call it key. You can call it wherever you want. Call it index. You can call it I don't know, string, whatever you want. But generally, I like to call it key. And then for value, that is the right side of the equal sign. So that's like the brick color, the cat, the 2 right there. So if we print just the key, you can see it prints color, number, animal. Very cool. And then if we were to print the value, then you can see it prints each value here. And one of the most important things to know about dictionary tables is that it's not ordered. So let's say I have a for loop for reading the array table, right? So dictionary, do array right here. I do key value. I'll go ahead and comment this out for now. So if I run it, you can see it goes from 1, 2, 3 in order, right? That is not necessarily true for dictionary tables. So for dictionary tables, however, the prints right now, it might appear as ordered. Oops. Let me do key value. There we go. See favorite color, favorite number. Okay, so actually, it worked right here. So you see it print favorite color, but then it print favorite number, even though favorite animal is the second one. So that's a bit strange, and that's just the way dictionaries work. Because it's not numbered, the script doesn't know how it's ordered. So one thing to keep in mind is that dictionary tables are never ordered, and you should never assume that they are. Now, how do we actually use dictionary tables is the more important question. Dictionary tables are very powerful. I'll do a small example. So let's say I have 3 parts, right? Oops, come on. There we go. So I'll go ahead and make 3 parts right here. Now let's say one is a healing part, one's a damage part, and one is a death part. So we got 3 separate parts with 3 different functionalities. Let's go ahead and name these 2. So we'll call this heal, damage, and then death. So I'm gonna code this without tables. So let's make some variables for each one. So heal is equal to workspace.heal. Same thing for each part. Then I'll connect a touch event with each one. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put a hit parameter for each one, and then get the humanoid for each one as well. So local humanoid is equal to hit.parent. Find first child humanoid. If humanoid exists, then we're going to heal, but I'm going to copy and paste that for each one now. Alright, so this one would do health is equal to plus the current health plus, let's say 10. We'll go ahead and put a print here. And we'll do that for each one now. So instead of plus 10, we'll just do minus 10. We'll print damage. And then for death, we'll just do, we'll just set it directly to 0. So very basic code here that does, different stuff. Let's go ahead and play it now and make sure it all works. So if I touch the part, you can see I heal a little bit. If I touch damage, you can see I got damage. And see I got my health back. And if I touch the death block, yeah, I just die. So even though this code is functional, it's actually quite long, and it's a lot of duplicate code. Let's see how this code kind of works the same way. We can reduce this with tables. So I'll first show you how to do it with an array table. So let's say we have a table of parts right here. I guess we can call it pads instead. Now I'll go ahead and put each part in. So heal, damage, death, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Alright, instead of making 3 separate functions manually, we'll have the script make the 3 functions for us. So we can do that by simply just looping through the table, this array table right here. So I'm going to call this part in pads. So I'm doing here is just making a for loop that loops through each part right here. And I'll go connect this to a touch function. Next to hit. And that's for testing. Let's just go ahead and just print the part whenever we touch it. So part.name. And then go ahead and test that. So healing part, you can see it prints heal. If I touch the red one, it prints damage. If I touch the black one, it prints death. Very cool. So using that, we can actually kind of customize the logic of this function. So for example, we can do if part.name is equal to heal. Then let's go ahead and get the humanoid too. Go humanoid, parent, humanoid, and go ahead and make an if statement for that to make sure the humanoid exists. Put that in here. So if it's heal, then we can change the health by 10. Else if part.name is equal to damage, I think it's called. We'll change that by minus 10. And then lastly, for the death, I know you can use an else for this, but for now, for simplicity, I'll just use another else if. set this directly to 0. So it's the same code, but except it's a bit shorter now, a little more complicated, but it's a bit more condensed without much copy-paste code. So you can see, oh, forgot to print, but you can see I got damage there, and you see my health increase, and then I can touch death part, and I'll just die like that. So this is pretty cool, but we can improve this further with dictionary tables. So I'm going to turn this into a dictionary table by doing so braces, and then I'm going to put in each part here, and for now I'll just set it to 0. Damage equals 0. And then instead of, and I'll go ahead and delete this for now. And let's say we want to gain 10 health. Damage, let's say we want to gain negative 10 health. And for damage, let's just do 99999. Alright, so same code here. Except now we can do humanoid.health. Actually, let's do a print first. So we can get the part name with this variable right here. And then we can use this part for this dictionary table here. So we'll go ahead and we'll print this. We want to print the part name as well as the number corresponding to that part. So I'll just as simple as this part. So in this case, I'm not using the strings, but I'm using the actual object itself as the key, which is fine. And remember, dictionaries, all it is just non-numeric keys. You can use, strings, you can use objects, you can use, a wide range of value types. So again, printing the part name and the number corresponding to that part. And we'll go ahead and test this now. Oh, it looks like I got an error. Let's check that out. Remember, always fix your errors. I see. So basically this script is saying that this variable right here is a number, which is correct, because if you see on the right side, they are numbers. So we need to change this to number, and then the left side, that would be the actual part. And remember, these are just variable names. So you can name whatever you want. It doesn't have to be the exact. Let's go ahead and run this now. Okay, and now we should touch this. You see it prints heal and then 10, damage negative 10, and then death, which is like a big number. So with that code, now we can write something like humanoid.health equals humanoid.health plus pads part. And remember, this is the damage right here. So just for simplicity, I'll make this a separate variable. Plus damage. So remember, healing will give us actually I'll call this heal amount. It's not actually damage. So the heal will give us 10 health, damage will give us negative 10, and then death will just give us a lot. Oh, I should probably make this negative as well. There we go. Okay, now we can go ahead and test it. Damage, you can see it's damaging me. Now I hit it back up, and then if I touch this, I should be dead. There we go. And you can see we went from you having 3 functions for each part to just having this. And then we can also customize the amount just by simply going up here and changing these values here. Whereas if you were using the first method, you would have to go to each function, read each function, and then have to understand and change the code. And that gets very confusing when you're working in very large scripts. So dictionary tables are very helpful in that regard. And if you have any questions, feel free to join my Discord. I'm there every day answering questions, or you can comment down below, as well as any video suggestions you might have or other tutorials you might want to see.